All right, we got a little something different today. We got a Bose wave radio with a remote control, but it does nothing. As you can see, it is dead. So we're going to try to figure out. Uh-oh, what was that? What was that? I just heard something when I unplugged it. So I hear a relay clicking or something when I turn up the volume now. I don't know if the remote control works. Yeah, hopefully you heard that. It was makes a rushing noise thing when I unplug it. We're going to take this sucker apart and see if we can't figure out what is wrong with it. That just flips up. Big old transformer right there, boy. This must be the antenna right here. This is the big cap. The filter voltage coming in, I suppose. So this is coming from the transformer. So here's a fuse. Let's check the fuse. We will check this fuse here. I'm assuming it's good. All right, so the fuse is good. Oh my goodness, oh, I have to take those off to get the board out. I want to at least take the feet or I want to get a look at the back of the board. This is the back of the board, and I don't see anything crazy looking. Everything looks okay. We got any voltage in there. 4.3 volts. We got 4 volts in that. Let's see if we can't work out. So this is some kind of tuner right here, because it's next to this antenna looking thing. I'm assuming that's going to tune to specific frequencies, or maybe. I'm looking at these caps and I don't see any with dome tops, so caps are likely okay. About 1,000 microfarads. I don't know what this is. No. It kind of looks like a a rectifier, but this also kind of looks like a rectifier. Hard to get in here and see anything. This is a big diode. Let's check. I'm reading the same reading both ways on that MOSFET or whatever that is. So I think this is a rectifier. It does have 4 pins. It's hard to see, but it does have 4 legs, and I go from the outer leg to the inner leg, I get 0.4. If I go to the next leg, I get 0.4, and then the other leg, I don't know, it confuses the multimeter, but if I reverse those, It's OL, OL, and then it's a short. No, it's OL. So it looks like you got AC voltage comes in here. Those pins look fine. Voltage comes in here and it goes to this coil. It goes to this resistor, I'm assuming. We had 4 volts in that capacitor, so I'm assuming all of this is good to go. $10 meg. I don't know if that's a 10 meg ohm resistor or not, but goes through that coil, comes up on the fuse, on the other side of the fuse and comes into the prong. So I'm assuming this is the negative side of that, which goes through another coil, goes through this coil, then goes to this capacitor. It also goes to this resistor, but I'm assuming this resistor is on the ground. One side of it's connected to ground, the other side is connected to to this leg here. Yeah, and that resistor is most likely like when you look at a Game Boy Advance, it has that one little resistor, and it's to bleed off excess current. At least that's my thoughts, anyways. But this must be for audio. This must be for audio, right? You guys can't see, but this cable that goes into the actual Bose deal, that must be for the audio. You got 2 speakers, you got maybe that. So this plug is for audio, maybe. And then so that means that this is the audio amplifier, which is why it's on a heat sink. Yeah. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. So this is definitely my rectifier. And so if all of this is working, I should be getting DC voltage on this capacitor. But the problem is how do you freaking test that? How can I test whether or not? Because this goes in there like that. That's some dangerous stuff, bro. Where would DC voltage be coming out? Well, I suppose I could check on these chips. Pin 1 probably would be whatever these chips are. I should have voltage on them. All right, so I've been digging around and I plugged it in and measured some voltages. And I'm getting voltage on these output. You can't see. My apologies. On the bridge rectifier, I'm getting voltage out, and I'm getting voltage on these chips. But I noticed, and so I got kind of stuck. So I did a quick search on Google, and folks are saying that if you have a situation where when you unplug the power from the Bose, you get static. It's this little transistor right here. They say it's shorted. So if we flip this over, these three legs right here, and so if I ohm from here to here, it doesn't appear to be shorted. If I ohm from here to here, it appears to be shorted. And if I ohm from here to here, it appears to be shorted. And that, I don't think, is the way a transistor should function. I don't have a schematic for this, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We can take it out and put it in a little tester, huh? Let's do that. Let's take it out and let's put it in the tester. All right, I got it out. Finally. All right. Okay, back to overhead. You're going to take this and put it in here like so. Okay, it's in there. Let's test it. It says it's a diode, which that might be right? Let's turn it around. Yeah, it says it's a diode, but it doesn't say it's a transistor. And if we get open that way, we get low resistance that way. And high resistance that way. I mean, it should tell me that that's a transistor. It didn't tell me it's two diodes. Yeah. Yeah, I think the folks on the interwebs are correct. I think this is faulty. So do I have something like this? Look at the marking. C3792. Well, unfortunately, I don't have any of those. I'm gonna have to try to order them. I will try to order it and then replace it when it comes in. All right, I'll see you when the part gets here. All right, we're gonna try an experiment. I have a 2N2222 transistor, NPN transistor, because I don't feel like paying $9 cajillion for the actual part to fix this thing. And so the collector voltage and the I guess collector to emitter or emitter to collector, the voltage is rated for higher. In terms of gain, I don't know if the gain of this transistor is more or less than the other one, but the voltage base to emitter is greater than 25 volts. So I'm assuming that means that if I had some sort of feedback voltage, it would not kill the transistor, but I don't know. we're going to try an experiment. I'm going to take this. So I had to bend the legs because on the C7932 transistor that was in here, it was emitter base collector. So pins 1, 2, and 3 were emitter base collector. But on this transistor, it's emitter. No, I'm sorry. I'm incorrect. On the C3792, it was pin 1 was the emitter, pin 2 was the collector, and pin 3 was the base. But all the transistors out of my little Bojack kit are emitter base collector. So in any event, I'm going to put this thing in backwards because this is the emitter, pin 1. Then I've put heat shrink around the other 2 pins and bend them. So I'm going to try to put it in here like this and see if we can make it work. Gotta do it like this. We got to repair this trace. So. You guys get to watch with me to see that thing smokes when we plug it in. Hopefully it doesn't short and burn up the rest of this stuff. All right, keep your eye right there. We're going to see if it smokes. All right, it didn't smoke. Doesn't mean it's going to work, but it certainly didn't smoke. So let's screw this back down. All right, I put it back together enough to test. And the clock is flashing. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's super dim. You hear the rushing noise on the radio? Let's try to find a channel. I can barely see. That is pretty cool, man. That is pretty cool. So I used a 2N222. I don't know how long it's going to work. It might last for a week and then die, but I used a 2N2222 NPN transistor. But I had to hook it because those transistors are emitter, base, and collector, whereas the C3792 transistors are collector, emitter, and then base. So it's just not, you can't just drop the transistor in there. You have to actually either bend the legs like I did, or you have to just solder some wires and then put heat shrink around the transistor and solder the wires to the legs of the transistor, and then you can do it that way too. But either way, it works. Let me get this put all the way back together and put the screws in there, and then we'll go from there. All right, all put back together, still working. Screen is not very bright. I suppose I could go ahead and put the 9-volt battery and put the little lid on there. I'm fairly certain this thing probably needs to have the capacitors changed because the brightness is terrible.
Thanks for joining us. We have some really great strategies for you coming up. I'm John Fuller. John, last time we...
All right, well, that's it, man. I'll wipe this thing down and put it in the garage so it can get dusty again. All right, y'all be good.